Overly hyped, gimmicky backpacking gear. That's what we're talking about today. If you guys are new to the channel, my name's Matt. Welcome to Matty Outdoors. We talk a ton of hiking and backpacking here. We talk a ton of, tips and tricks for beginner backpackers as well as experienced backpackers. So if you're looking at, just getting yourself out on trail and becoming a little bit more comfortable out on trail and being a little bit more smart with our gear purchases, that's what my channel's all about. So if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel. But like I said, today we're talking gimmicky backpacking gear. Some of this gear we are gonna absolutely tear to shreds. I hate seeing people get out there and just pick up gear that's gimmicky and isn't going to work for them out on trail. So why not try and save some people a couple bucks here and there and help them make better gear purchases. The first piece of gear we're going to talk about is one that I'm sure many of you guys and gals have seen on Facebook ads and people posting it in these Facebook hiking groups and thinking that this is going to be the game changer when it comes to new backpacks. And that is this thing called the Hoverglide backpack. If you guys have seen it, you guys know what I'm talking about. The video is this dude, running down the trail and the backpack is literally bouncing up and down on his back and it looks like it's floating and it looks absolutely ridiculous. And their claim is it's got this spring and pulley system in the back and all this technology is just going to lower the weight and it's going to make it more comfortable for you out on trail. And I'm pained when I think about anybody falling for a gimmicky thing like this and spending their hard-earned money on it. But a system like that just simply is not going to work. It's not going to reduce the weight on your back. That the weight is still going to be there. And at the end of the day, when you're incorporating these springs and pulleys into a backpacking system, when you're out there in the middle of the wilderness in the backcountry, you're dealing with dust and debris and rain and hailstorms and whatever else you might experience out there. Just these components are going to fail. They're going to break down. And this is honestly one of the most gimmicky pieces of hiking gear that I have ever seen. And I thought it was worth mentioning. It was actually what kind of inspired me to make this video, was seeing that ad. And it got me thinking about just all the other gimmicky pieces of gear like this next one. And we're going to call it a piece of gear that I actually own. Now we are talking about the Hammock Drummer or Drummer, just to make this easier for myself because this thing is actually quite heavy. I'm going to ditch the sleeping pad. And I love the Drummer hammock. This is my go-to hammock when it comes to lounging out in my backyard. It's very, very comfortable. It's really cool. It's got some straps and pulleys inside and you can turn it into a recliner chair. Gimmicky, right? Gimmicky. Now, one of the big drawbacks to the Drummer hammock is, the compressed size, obviously, but big one is the weight. Just the hammock alone is 1,285 grams or 45.3 ounces, and the fuel sleeping pad is 910 grams or 32.1 ounces for a combined weight of almost 77 ounces or just over 5 pounds. Now, adding the tarp to that combo adds another 1.5 pounds, so you're looking at 6.5 pounds for a single person shelter. That is absolutely insane by any backpacking standards, be it ultralight, traditional, heavy backpacking, whatever you want to call it. 6.5 pounds for a single person shelter is absolutely mind-bogglingly insane. That's the reason why my Drummer hammock does not go out on trail with me. Like I said, I use it simply for lounging at home. But if the weight of the Drummer hammock is not crazy enough, there is another shelter system out there, and it is sort of a pseudo hammock related shelter that is kind of one of these all the rave things in the hammock backpacking groups, and that is the Haven Hammock. Now this is another hammock that requires a sleeping pad, and this one is marketed as a hammock tent. It's the benefits of it is you've got a sleeping pad in it, you can take it to ground. Now the Haven Hammock does come with a tarp, so it's an all-in-one shelter system, but the weights of it are absolutely crazy. Over 3,000 grams, and it comes in at just under 7 pounds. Like I said before with the Drummer hammock, 6.5 pounds, the Haven being 7. Now while the Drummer hammock is extremely comfortable, I've never tried out the Haven, so I can't vouch for its comfort, but seeing videos of it, it lays very, very similar to the Drummer, so I'm sure it's pretty comfortable. But 7 pounds for a backpacking shelter for one person, absolutely insane. Now this next piece of gear we're going to talk about is also hammock related, and this is one that people who are new to hammocks tend to see and they think, oh man, this is the best, and it is a Hammock Pod System. The best way to insulate yourself in a hammock is with an underquilt and a top quilt, or an underquilt and a sleeping bag. The underquilt is just kind of it's almost like a modified sleeping bag that's rigged up to hook on the underside of your hammock, and it insulates you from the cold around you. What a lot of people tend to think is, why not just combine the two and a lot of people try modifying a sleeping bag, or there's companies out there that make a pod system for a hammock, and newer hammock campers and newer backpackers see this and think, wow, that's awesome, that's going to save me so much weight, it's going to be super warm. And yeah, I guess in a way it's going to be warm, but where you really lose out when you go for a pod system as hammock insulation is comfort. Now, one of the big things when you're sleeping in a hammock is you kind of want to lay on the diagonal. You don't want to lay straight in the hammock or you sleep like a banana. Now, with a pod system being closed off at either end, it forces you to sleep like a banana, and they are insanely uncomfortable. The most uncomfortable night I've ever had in a hammock was trying out a pod system, which I promptly returned, and I will never ever go back, and I will always suggest someone look at an underquilt for a hammock. I use battery banks all the time with me out on trail. I think they are a fantastic way of keeping your electronics charged up. Most modern electronics are easily rechargeable via USB, so it just makes sense to carry a little portable battery bank with you. Most of them you get a couple USB outputs, and just pop a couple cords in there, keep all your electronics charged up. But the gimmicky side of battery banks is the battery banks you'll see on Amazon all the time. These ones that have a little solar panel installed on the battery bank, and it's supposed to be the new thing. You just hang this off your backpack and it dangles there, and it's going to recharge in the sun while you're out hiking. And from experience, guys and gals, these just simply don't work. The current technology available with solar, especially in a small panel the size of a battery bank, is not going to keep up with the draw from even keeping your cell phone charged up throughout the day. If you're using it to, listen to a podcast, or, take video on trail, or even take pictures, or, run a GPS unit or whatever. When it comes to battery banks, just make sure you pick up a battery bank that on its own is going to be sufficient to get you through a trip. Usually a 10,000 milliamp battery bank will get most people through a 3 to 4 day backpacking trip. Anything longer, you might want to look at getting yourself, a 20,000 milliamp battery bank. But don't even bother looking at the battery banks with a little solar panel built onto them. They are 100% not worth the money. They don't work. And when I say they don't work, I'm not trying to say that the solar charger doesn't work at all. It will top the battery up a little tiny bit. But like I said, it is not going to keep up, even if you're just using your battery bank to keep your phone topped up. Check out this video here on backpacking gear I have no interest in getting. As always, guys, I'm Matty. Thank you so dang much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.